Have you ever wondered if people can tell you're wearing a wig, or if wigs actually damage your natural hair? In today's video, I'm going to be debunking some of the most common wig myths that I hear to help you feel more confident and informed about wearing wigs. And in fact, when I first started wearing wigs, I used to believe these myths, and it made my wig wearing journey a lot harder than it needed to be. So that's why I want to share this with you guys today, so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Myth number one is wigs always look fake. Not true. And in fact, I am technically wearing fake hair right now. Yup, this red wig is actually fake. Well, it's kind of like a reddy brown wig. I really love this color, but check out this part line, guys. I've worn it so many times, and in fact, I've worn it when I'm so close to people where we're literally like this. They're talking to me, they're looking at my face, and they don't notice it's a wig. And in fact, anytime I wear a wig on my head, which is pretty much every single day at this point, people are always coming up to me, asking me where I got my hair done, asking me what color code it technically is so that they too can go to the hair salon and get the same color that I got. It's funny because I don't always have a response for people that ask me this, because I don't always want to tell everyone it's a wig. Like, I don't always want to have that conversation, but it just speaks to, why is the doorbell ringing? I'm filming. But it just speaks to how far wigs have come and the quality. The truth is, with modern lace fronts and monofilament tops and realistic fibers, people won't even notice it's a wig unless you decide to tell them. And this is really powerful because there's usually a lot of fear behind wig wearing, especially if you're just getting into it. I definitely fell into that trap too. But I promise you, you guys, people are not going to know it's a wig. You get to be in control of that narrative. People are really only going to think it's your hair unless you tell them. But of course, this comes back to what kind of a wig did you get, or are you thinking about getting? Because of course there's things that are really good to get on a wig and then things that are not really going to make it look realistic. So definitely learning all those things is going to be to your benefit. The more you know about wigs, the more you're going to enjoy the journey of wearing them. Myth number two is wigs are uncomfortable to wear. Not true. Although sometimes on some wigs you might find, one itchy, or maybe a wig is like sliding off your head because it's not the proper fit. Yeah, you could call that definitely uncomfortable. And my head has definitely been itchy before from wefts or caps that are not that great made. Like I barely paid any money for it. And everyone is going to differ in this section of what they find uncomfortable and what they do find comfortable. But luckily there's so many different ways to go about this now. Like you can wear a wig grip. Some people really like wig grips. Not only does it secure your wig to your head, but because it's a little bit of extra fabric laying on your head just right here, your wig sits on top of that, over that. And in a way, it kind of protects the wig from sitting on your head directly. So some people find that it's really comfortable. In fact, I find wearing a wig grip to be really comfortable, but I had to find the right wig grip for me. So I cannot do silicone. You know the silicone ones with the little bumps on them? I can't do those. Not only do they not feel good against my head, I feel like they dig into my head and I end up always getting a migraine. But that's just me. Some people really like them. I like the velvet lined ones, and I have a specific brand that I really like to wear. I'll put the link down in the description. I just got it off of Amazon, but it's the best one I've ever worn. And in fact, I'm wearing a super unique one now. It's actually by the same brand that makes my favorite wig grip, but it's that wig grip attached to a cap. So now I don't even have to tie my hair back because I have really thin hair, guys. So now it allows me to just put my hair underneath this cap, not even secure it with anything. But because the wig grip is attached to this cap, I get no slippage. I get complete coverage. I get this lighter part aspect that I love the look of, and it feels comfortable to me. So my point is, wigs, although may have some aspects that might feel uncomfortable to some, usually those aspects can be fixed. You just have to find the right solution for you. And luckily in today's day and age, like, we do have a lot of things that can help. So put it down in the comment section if you have a specific issue with your wig that makes it feel uncomfortable to you, or anything you're worried about. Just ask it down below and I'll comment back, and of course, like, we can all help each other. So it's always good to put your comments in the comment section of the videos because everyone sees them and it can help everybody. So do that if you have a question. The next myth is that wigs damage your hair. No, No, they don't. I get this question a lot, and this is a big concern for people. I used to be so concerned over this because I already had thinning hair from my Graves' disease. I was already feeling, down in the dirt with my hair. I didn't want more of it to fall out or get pulled out. And you hear these horrific stories online. There's probably other YouTube videos, clickbait, where it's basically like, I lost my hair because of a wig. Well, okay. There's a little bit of truth to the fact that you can get traction alopecia from a wig, which is essentially tension on your hair, like continuous tension in the same area. And that can happen from clips. It can happen from tape and adhesive. And if you're doing that every single day, okay, yeah, that can damage your own bio hair. But if you're following my channel, for example, we talk about glueless wigs a lot because I prioritize hair care and because I want my hair to be the best it can be, even though it doesn't look great. Like, that's why I wear wigs. But for what I do have, it's never been better. And I wear wigs constantly, every single day. But the trick is they're glueless, and I am not using clips. I'm not using tape. I'm not using adhesives, although I do use them. And it's not to say that you can't use those things like every now and again. You just don't want to be using them every single day because it can tug and rip at your hair. So you may be thinking like, yeah, stuff that is like common sense. I know, but it's funny how many people don't think of it like that. They just think, oh, you're putting something on your hair, it's going to like rip at your hair, like your hair's just not gonna like it, it's gonna fall out. It's just not true. Wigs actually, if they're worn the right way, especially if they're worn glueless, they can make your hair grow stronger. It can make your hair more healthy because let's say if you're wearing your own hair, your bio hair every single day, you're not wearing wigs. Well, what does that mean for you? Do you like to get it colored? Do you go in to get highlights every couple weeks? Do you like styling it? Do you put curls or waves in it? If you do any of the above, you are essentially damaging your hair little by little as time goes on. Whereas if you're wearing a wig, guess what? You don't need to dye your hair. You're not putting a straightener on your hair. You're not putting a curler on your hair. If you're wanting to style your hair, you're styling your wig. And this isn't yours technically. Like, your hair is fine and secure underneath the cap. Think about this too. When you go outside and the wind picks up, like let's say it's a super stormy day. I remember before I wore wigs, like a long time ago, well over a decade, if I would go outside and there was a storm, my hair would be picked up, whipped around in circles, tied in knots. Like, I would get back inside and I would run my fingers through and it would be so matted, and then I would take a brush and try and comb through it, and I can like almost hear it ripping as I go. And even though you're trying to be careful, the elements, the wind, anything outside, like it's just doing damage. You know how the sun and the elements does damage to our skin? You've probably heard that before. It's a part of aging. But with our hair, it's the same sort of thing. You go outside, you do anything to it, you put it in a tight little bun, you put it in like any sort of style for the rest of your day, like it might be tugging at your hair, and then you also dye it and you do all these things. Well, you are putting wear and tear on your hair. Whereas if you're doing all of that to your wig, so it's not technically growing out of my head, but you're not damaging your hair. Maybe you've got it in a protective style under your wig, which is always a good idea. And even if you've had to put your hair in a little tiny bun at the nape of your neck so you can wear that wig, and you're worried that that is going to damage your hair, if you're careful putting it in and taking it out, you shouldn't have any damage at all. But let's say you're not careful and you do just like rip out that bun at the end of a wig wearing day. You might get some breakage at that point, but guaranteed it is a heck of a lot less that's gonna happen to your own hair while not wearing a wig, just out and about throughout your day. So wearing wigs, from my own experience and from those whom I've come to know through the beauty of this channel, is that wigs have helped their hair grow healthier and stronger. So I don't think there is a need to worry there at all. And in fact, I did a video on this topic that if you're really detail oriented and you want even more information about this, then watch that video, because that'll give you more information into how wigs actually benefit your hair instead of ruining them. The next myth is that synthetic wigs are low quality and you should not buy them. You should only wear human hair wigs. It's not true. I'm wearing a synthetic wig right now and it is not low quality. It has everything I would want a human hair wig to have, except of course for the fact that it is not real hair, which cuts down on the price. Human hair wigs are always more expensive than synthetics. And if they're not, you might want to question why. How did they come about that hair? I hope it was an ethical practice. That's why I like to look into companies before I go and buy a human hair wig from them, just because there's ethical practices and then there's not. But in general, if it's ethical and they have paid the person for their hair, like let's say you get a human hair wig that's like this long, guys, think about how long it took that person to grow their hair that length. And sometimes company will source it from a single individual, and sometimes they'll source it from different individuals and put it into one cap. You don't know until you ask that company, but the price has to kind of coincide with that. So synthetic wigs, naturally, because it is not real hair, are not going to have the same pricing structure as like a human hair wig, but that doesn't mean that synthetics are no good because it's fake hair. As you can see on my head right now, like I can flip my head around, this cap is great, it's not going anywhere. This synthetic hair looks real. It's stunning. Like look at all these layers, look at the color, look how there's like a little bit of shine, like enough for it to be healthy, but not too much where it looks fake. I think that this wig, and in fact, I've gotten so many compliments on this wig, guys. It's not any lesser quality than a human hair wig. So don't be afraid of synthetics. They're really beneficial, especially for beginners, because they come already styled. If you get it wet, you don't have to spend time styling it, and they're super easy to put on, especially the ones with ear tabs. Like this one has ear tabs, so I can literally just take it off my head and put it back on my head, and it's so quick. And if you are a beginner and you want more of like one-on-one help, I've created a community specifically for this, tailored to you guys, where we can come and be together and talk about wigs, and you can actually ask me a question directly, like send me a picture of your wig issue or any thoughts or concerns you have, and I can guide you right then and there. I can comment back and tell you exactly how to fix your wig by the picture you've sent me. I love fixing wigs. I love making them look so realistic. So if you need my help, check out the link below this video. The next myth is that wigs don't last very long. Man, I hear this one a lot, especially in regards to synthetics. And this is always a big worry and a big concern. Can I just like point blank tell you exactly how I feel? Sometimes it is just so hard to find someone who will just tell you the truth like straight up. So here's my thought on lifespan. Regular synthetics are the ones that do not last a long time, in my opinion. Heat-friendly synthetics, you will see the breakdown of fiber faster than a regular synthetic, but with the right refreshing process, like the way that I know how to do it and have been doing it for years, they can last longer than a regular synthetic. And then human hair, I've had mine for over 8 years, but it depends on what kind of cap. If it's glueless, it can last that long. If you are taping it down and you're putting adhesives and you're always finicking with the lace like that, it could last maybe 1 to 2 years. I might get a lot of him and haw with that. I know some people do not agree, but from what I've seen for lifespan, it really comes down to how people care for their wigs. I actually teach on my channel how I like to refresh my synthetic heat-friendly wigs because so many people do it a certain way, like very by the book, very like how companies like to teach it, but I'm a little different. And the way that I've learned to do it over the years of refreshing my wigs has increased the longevity of my heat-friendly synthetics to the point where I love them so much more than a regular synthetic now, because I can actually bring them back and make them look brand new. Whereas my regular synthetics, it's like once it gets to the end, like it's the end. I can never get it back to looking, you know, brand spanking new. Not as new as I can get a heat-friendly synthetic to look. So that is my opinion. I think heat-friendly wigs can last few years. I have mine for years. All I can do is tell my experience and how it's going in my wig life. The regular synthetics, I don't wear as often, I don't like as much, and they die sooner. And then my human hair wigs, as long as they're glueless, I'm going to have them for so long, I'm going to forget how long I've had them for. So that is the honest truth. It is definitely a myth that wigs do not last long. They do. It just, you know, depends on how you're caring for it, how you're wearing it, and the length of the wig, because the longer the wig, you know, it could get more tangled than, say, a short one. But I wouldn't say that wigs don't last long. That is a huge misconception. The next myth is that you need an expensive wig to make it look natural. Although it is true typically that you get what you pay for, it has been done. In fact, I have done it where I've gotten a really affordable wig, like kind of like a cheap wig, and I have made it look real. Do I like doing that? Not really, not overly. Like, I don't have a ton of time in the day nowadays because I have 2 kids under the age of 2. I just gave birth to my second one. She's only 2 months now. And so with all of that going on in my life right now, no, I don't really have the time to take a cheap wig and make it look real. But it can be done. You don't always have to spend a lot of money to get a wig to look realistic. Because you get what you pay for, don't expect to pay minimal amount and get a wig that looks real right out of the box. That usually does not happen, right? Because someone who's put a lot of time into making that wig look real, they can't sell it for that cheap because their time is worth something, right? If that's like their business, they need to pay for their time being spent to make this wig. Now, the cheaper the wig, it reflects material cost, reflects usually the time someone took to make it. So if it is like really, really budget friendly, you have to sort of expect that when you get that wig, there's gonna be something you need to do to it to make it look real. But can it be done? Yes, it can. Does it depend on cap construction? Yes, it does. I would always say lace front is where you need to start. If you have that, you can realistically make any wig look real. You might just have your work cut out for you. The next myth is that wearing wigs is only for people with hair loss. Incorrect. Although a lot of us who have hair loss, myself included, wear wigs, and that's like essentially what made us get into it, is because we started losing our hair and we felt like we were losing ourselves. So we turned to alternative hair. That makes sense. But what isn't super common in today's day and age is people wearing wigs just for fun. Although it does happen. I have seen it. There is a number of people who do just wear wigs for fun with no underlying illness or hair loss issue. But it's not as common as, like, let's say women or men dyeing their hair. It's not as common as that. And it's also not as common as someone wearing extensions in their hair. Although I always like to compare it to extensions because extensions are so wildly accepted now, where like if you're on the street, someone compliments your hair, you say, "Oh, thanks, I have extensions in." They don't really think anything of it. They just basically say, "Oh, cool, that's awesome. Like, where'd you get it done? I want to get it done." You know, that sort of thing. But I have still found there is a stigma around wigs. So if someone comes up and compliments me the same way they would if I wore extensions, they say, "Hey, I love your hair." And I say, "Oh, thanks, it's a wig." Sometimes I get the look of sadness on their face where they assume that I have an illness. And they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. What happened to your hair?" And it almost catches me off guard now because I'm not sick right now. I've actually gone into remission from my disease, although my hair has not returned to its original pre-diagnosis condition, and it most likely will not. People will still think I'm sick if I say I wear wigs. It's not accepted the same way extensions and other alternative hair options are accepted. This is annoying to me. It really bothers me. This is why on my channel, I hope to reach people who just want to wear wigs for fun or who never even thought to consider it, because actually you will save money versus extensions. Because I used to get them, I know about this stuff. You have to go in every couple weeks to get them put back up in your head, reset, and that costs a lot of money. And then let's say your hair is brown and you got blonde extensions, you got to keep dyeing your hair, it's damaging your hair, you're paying more money. Trust me, if you're doing all that to your hair, consider wigs, because even if you go and you buy the most expensive wig, well, maybe not the most expensive, but a really high quality wig, either synthetic or human hair, you are still going to save money because of how long they do last, how good they look. You do not need to take any trips to the salon to get perfect, amazing hair. Wigs are not just for people with hair loss, although a lot of people like to think that everyone who wears wigs must have some form of hair loss. It's not true. In fact, I always say if my hair came back to be amazing and gorgeous, I still would wear wigs because they're so fun. I am so addicted and obsessed. I save money and that would keep my own hair underneath looking good. I hope I've set the record straight. I've been as honest as I can possibly be. Of course, this is my own experience. Some of you may not agree with me and that's okay, but I would love it if you guys do have a question, a tip, a concern, please put it down in the comment section because ultimately we are helping others, like beginners who go down there. They love to read the comments, try to see what other people are saying. And I myself love comments too. Like I go down there and I read every single one. Let's try and keep things positive. Let's not bring each other down. This is a supportive community and I want it to remain that way. Links and anything of importance that I think would benefit you guys will be down in the description of this video. Thank you so much for being here and I will see you next time. Bye guys.